Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I've got a couple of unidentified animal attacks in the newspaper. One I believe to be a Dogman. The other I'm really not that sure of. There are a lot of similarities to the chupacabra that we have in America and Mexico, but these two encounters that I'm going to share with you come from overseas. Also, I have a terrifying Sasquatch encounter out of Vermont. Before we get into these encounters, though, a couple links I'd like to share. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merchandise to help this channel to continue to grow and go. All of those links are in the description below. I also have a second channel for creepypasta, fanfiction, and scary voice acting. Stories that really don't fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything you're into, follow that link and give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. Also, I haven't really been doing a lot of work on the second channel with everything going on with my health and surgery, and now having my daughter here. So I may be deleting that, or I'm not really sure. I'd like to start doing some stuff on it, but this channel is my baby, and you guys are my family, so this is the only one that really matters to me a lot. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get on with these encounters, shall we? Today's first encounter is going to be a unsolved, unknown animal attack. November 23rd, 2012. According to a news story in the Borneo Post last week, an unknown animal recently attacked two men working on a farm. An Indonesian plantation worker and a 75-year-old farmer got the shock of their lives when they were attacked by an unknown animal species on two separate occasions earlier this month. The farmer, Aris Kuna of Kampung Pongont, was attacked by a rare animal while attending to his pepper garden about noon. The foreigner was attacked a week later at the plantation near Kapangbang while gathering oil palm, fresh fruit bunches. The animal that attacked the duo was described as having a bear and wild boar resemblance. Fellow workers and villagers who saw the carcass brought by the Indonesian could not identify the animal species. In all my life venturing into the jungle, hunting and such, I've never come across this species, 62-year-old Louis Noy said. The farmer said the animal made a strange sound and rushed at him, at one point standing on its hind legs. The reign of terror ended when the farmer, holding a sickle, promptly sliced the creature up. The animal was described as about 2 feet long, with long pig-like snout and long sharp claws. It also gave off a horrible odor that got much worse after death. Skeptics aren't so sure. Sharon Hill, a writer at doubtfulnews.com, points out that the photo and description screamed badger to her. Specifically, one type of small mammal native to the region, an Indonesian stink badger, which is related to skunks, hence the stink in the name and on the carcass. It matches the animal that attacked the men in nearly every detail. Left unexplained, though, is why the farmer and others couldn't identify the badger. Though, just because an animal is native to the area does not necessarily mean that everyone who lives there would recognize it. Many animals are nocturnal or avoid contact with people, or spend their lives in water and woods. Ornithologists can spend months or even years trying to spot birds well within their natural habitat ranges. This phenomenon sometimes occurs in the United States, where a common animal has been mistaken for a mysterious or unknown species. Raccoons and opossum, for example, are common throughout North America, yet have been mistaken for monsters on several occasions, usually when stricken hairless with mange, or when their decomposing carcass has washed up on a beach. Alright guys, let's do a quick little breakdown of this. Now, I will agree with Sharon Hill that it could have been a badger, a screaming badger, until I looked them up to see exactly how big they were, and they are not even near close to what was described. Now, also, there was two descriptions. One was described having a bear and wild boar resemblance. Well, if you hear that, you automatically assume a large animal. Bears, of course, are large, and wild boars are not a small animal at all. And I'm guessing in Indonesia, they are not small there as well. I mean, we have them in North America, and from what I've heard, the ones in North America are usually smaller than the ones throughout the world. So I'm guessing the Indonesian wild boar is probably pretty freaking big. So there was the statement at the end where it says nearly every detail. Well, that's a big detail. Then the second description is a 2-foot long, pig-like snout and long, sharp claws. Well, there's another reference to a pig. Also, looking up a badger, or the Indonesian stink badger, doesn't look like a friggin' pig at all. Okay? And the 62-year-old Louis Noy, he has spent most of his life in the jungle, hunting and adventuring, and never seen this species ever. Once again, I think because he said that, the newspaper contradicted him by throwing the ornithologist comment. You know, what, honestly, let's compare birds to a wild animal that attacked humans. Kind of stupid if you ask me. Just something really smells fishy on this one. I don't know, maybe I'm reading into it, but there's just a lot of things that don't add up. The two different descriptions, but even though they're two different in sizes, they're very similar. And comparing it to a badger, doubtfulnews.com, I don't know. I have a hard time, you know. You guys know how it is. Anyway, let's move on to the next unsolved, unidentified animal attack, shall we? May 17th, 2018. A mysterious animal has terrorized the villages of Siddhapur district in Uttar Pradesh. The district has seen 13 deaths, all of them children. The victims have been found with horrific bite marks and their flesh torn up. A mysterious killing animal has terrorized the villagers of Siddhapur district. The animal has fatally attacked 13 children so far, and villagers and local administration are killing dogs in the area. Residents of at least 10 villages of Siddhapur are having sleepless nights. A mysterious animal is fatally attacking children in the district over the last 6 months. The killing started in November when a 10-year-old was bitten on the neck at Siddhapur's Tekriya village. The child succumbed to the injuries. No one has seen the animal that attacked, and it's assumed to be a dog. A similar incident took place in January. This time, the victim was in Karabad. Local administration downplayed both incidents as cases of attacks by stray dogs. But the Yogi government took serious note when 11 more deaths were reported in the last 2 months. Now dogs are being killed one after another in Siddhapur. Animal experts at the time are not convinced that all of the children's death resulted from attacks by dogs. On Sunday, 12-year-old Rena was attacked by an unknown creature in Siddhapur district of Maheshpur Chilawara village. Different witnesses gave different accounts. Some blamed a pack of 7 dogs behind the attack that sparked protests. At least 300 villagers blocked traffic on a national highway and demanded action to rein in what they say are feral dogs. The administration deployed police and multiple animal hunters. In the last 2 weeks, at least 30 dogs have been killed by the administration and over 50 others have been sent to the forests. But the incidences have not stopped. Some animal researchers are ruling out dogs behind the killer assaults. Whenever a dog attacks, it targets below the waist. But in all these cases, the animal attacked area is around the neck of the children, which suggests that these attacks are committed by wolves, jackals, or hyenas, said an expert in Delhi. Whenever a dog attacks, they bite, bark, and leave. But in one case, a 13-year-old was attacked in the neck and his entire flesh was eaten up by the animal. It's highly impossible that a dog will ever act like that. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath visited Sitapur on Friday to meet family members of the victims. The district magistrate has also ordered a fresh exercise to capture and sterilize dogs in the affected areas. We have increased surveillance and have also identified 50 such dogs which may be behind these attacks. We are also waiting for post-mortem results on the deceased to determine the animals and their numbers, said by officer of Sitapur administration. Police are now using drones and night vision cameras to trap suspect animals and feral dogs. At least 13 children, the ages of 7 to 13, have died since November of last year. Out of them, 7 died this month. The district administration has roped in various agencies to curb the attacks. The CM has ordered a ban on open defecation in 10 of the affected villages. Experts from the Indian Veterinary Research Institute and World Wildlife Fund have also been approached to suggest a scientific solution to the problem. Okay, on to the breakdown of this one. Once again, these are just my breakdowns, my thoughts. My word is not bond. I don't know all. Just sharing with you guys what I think. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion as well. That's how we learn. Anyway, I'm going to be agreeing with the other animal researchers ruling out dogs because very true. If it is a crazy wild feral dog, they're going to be biting hands, legs. I mean, I've seen dogs bite in people's faces. Usually it's when the child is low to them. 7 to 13-year-old are not really, I mean, my 12-year-old is like 5'2", so it's not really that low. I'm also not thinking that these are wolves, jackals, or hyenas. Maybe a hyena of a different sort. But because they're going for the neck region, they're just ripping. So, I mean, this child, if a dog is attacking a child or anyone, that person's immediate response is going to be to run, you know? If there's 7 dogs on somebody, yes, they're going to probably knock them down. But a dogman or something similar to a dogman could just easily grab a child or a human and just bite. Done. No noise, nothing. Another thing they mentioned is how they said when a dog attacks, they bite, bark, and leave. Well, usually when any animal attacks, a wolf, jackal, or hyena, they're going to be loud, especially hyenas and jackals. I was watching a couple of YouTube videos prior to recording this just to see how loud they were, and they are very, very loud. They're not quiet animals at all, especially when they attack. And if it is a pack animal, like if it's a pack of them on a child, they're going to be even louder. So I'm thinking singularly, one type of dogman, possibly a hyena-like dogman. Once again, I know, type 2, variant 3, whatever. Just some sort of dogman. One thing that I'm baffled by is the open defecation. The ban. I don't understand that. Is that for the animals or the villagers? Because I know in a lot of villages in the Middle East, people just defecate, where they stand. So I'm wondering what that is about. It's kind of strange to me. I don't know. But another thing is that this is a second attack or a second news story from India. Very far apart. Not even close. One was attacking animals. Now this is attacking children. They've killed 30 dogs. They've sent 50 others into the forest. The scariest is that out of the 13 kids, 6 of them died in a year's time, but then 7 died in 1 month. That number is staggering. That's scary. It's staggering. I'm thinking that it's a Dogman, and it's possibly seeing what is happening to these other dogs that are getting killed. We don't know if they have a bond with dogs. Maybe they see them as a equal or family, and they're seeing these other dogs getting killed, and they're taking it out on these children. Who knows? That's one of the only thoughts that I can come up with the 7 deaths in 1 month. That is just insane, and my heart goes out to these children who have passed and their parents and family. It must be overwhelming and sad. So anyway, let's get on with tonight's Bigfoot encounter. I have lived in Vermont since I was 17 years old. I've never heard of Bigfoot nor seen anything like it in my life. I've seen black bears stand on their hind feet, take a few steps, but always return to their four-legged walk. I married my husband in '67 and had 3 children from '70 to '72. There are 2-lane roads in my state except for the Interstate 89, which goes from 91 into Massachusetts back to 89 and winds its way clear to Canada. We lived in Windsor, Vermont, centered next to the Connecticut River, nestled against Mount Asconutty. It's a truly beautiful place to live. The people are friendly, even with their New England quirks. It's a place you'd bring up your children, let them walk to and from school. Never had to lock your cars or your house, where everyone knew everybody for generations. But 1 year changed my life forever. So my husband is a hunter, and we would drive to Richford, Vermont, to his cousin's house, and he and his cousin would hunt buck or doe for the 2 weeks we'd be staying there. He knew every track an animal would leave and really enjoyed the sport. So on that fateful afternoon coming back from Reading, Vermont, it was your typical day, maybe 80, real nice breeze. We were talking when I approached a long swinging corner. I had slowed a bit, and when I had reached the straight, there was an animal in the center of the road. I came to a stop just yards from it. We both thought it was a bear as it was hunched over with its back to us. I honked the horn a couple of times, but to no avail. The creature continued doing its thing until it started standing up and up and up. It had to have been 9 feet tall, maybe 800 pounds, my husband says. Reddish-brown shaggy fur. Then it turned around. Neither of us could speak as this thing eyed us. It was very apparent that whatever it was intelligent. It was a male, but the largest animal I'd ever seen up close. And my husband was just as shocked as I was at the sight of this thing. It eyed us for maybe a minute or two, looking directly into each of our eyes, then turned, took a step towards the side of the road. And 1 step it was on the grass, another step it was going into what hunters called pucker brush, because it had thorns 2 inches long or better, and it made you pucker for the pain it inflicted. Then the animal was just gone. We sat there, I don't even know how long afterwards, but a car came up behind us and I had to start moving. We didn't speak of it until the next day, and we were trying to wrap our minds around what we had seen. Years later, I came across a book by Ivan Sanderson about a large humanoid animal named Sasquatch or Yeti or Bigfoot, and that's when I realized what we had seen. I rushed home to show my husband what I had found, and from then on, we watched the sides of the roads and looked in the fields, but never saw the creature or others again. I'm truly thankful for what we saw that day, as it made me realize that there is more in this world than we could ever imagine. We never told anyone about our encounter till years later, feeling like no one would believe us anyway. What a great encounter. You know, a lot of people, when they send me their encounters or I read an encounter, they make that statement like, I've got an encounter, but it's really not that great. This was a very mundane encounter in, the encounter-wise as they go. There was no attack, it touched the car, but to witness such a creature up close, truly is amazing. I actually would love to have been in that car that day just to see it. As I was narrating this, I was thinking about our buddy Bo and how he's been blessed to have a family of Squatch very close to his home in that cave. And, it must be a blessing. It really must be. The Dogman is a terrifying encounter, but still, I want to say a blessing, because if I didn't have that encounter, I would have always been fascinated with cryptids. I've been since I was a little kid. But after that encounter really got me going. It makes your brain go, wow. Just like this woman said, there's more to the world than we can imagine. Also, the way she describes the event is great. It was apparent that it was intelligent. Really a great encounter. Really jealous. I really want to see a Sasquatch. Today I was watching some YouTube videos with my daughter. I think it was like Nuke Top 5. And we were watching creatures spotted in the forests, and there was a Bigfoot, and it was ripping off tree bark and ripping apart a tree for no reason. I was thinking that maybe it was ripping apart this tree for termites or ants to eat. But my daughter goes, it looks like an ape, Daddy, or a gorilla. And I'm like, very close, you're right. And then as the camera is, on this creature, it stands up. And just like the woman said, up and up and up. And my daughter goes, now it doesn't. And then the guy behind the camera takes off running. But I have a Jack Lynx, full-size Sasquatch. So it's 7 feet tall, cardboard display. And, it's not really a Sasquatch, it's a rendition. But then I looked at it with my daughter and I was like, check it out. Look at a gorilla. We looked at the pictures of gorilla, and then we looked at Sasquatch, and then we looked at our nearest relative in the evolution chain, the Neanderthal. And I said, this is the steps. I said, and this right here is where I believe the Neanderthal didn't didn't progress, or maybe it did progress and that DNA line went somewhere else, or of course it's a complete different thing. It's a, interdimensional traveler, which would be amazing too. Just wow, I really like that encounter. Really cool. I've got some great encounters coming up. I just want to talk a couple of minutes to let you guys know what's been going on. So those guys who don't like to listen to me talk, you guys can stop now. I haven't been able to record for a couple days. My daughter we're going through some crap, as you guys know. It just seems like the bullshit keeps getting deeper, and I am probably going to record tomorrow. I hope so, to keep my sanity. But I'm going to have a very busy couple of days. Apparently, my ex-wife is having some issues, and she's going to have to move. And about an hour south of where I live. And I don't know really what's going to happen now. So I'm going to have to go and up to the county building where family court is, and hopefully just file for full custody. It took me a while to record this today because my head was just going to different places. I'm not showing my daughter how mentally goofy I am right now about things, but yeah, it's taken its toll. So that's why the uploads haven't been. But today I needed to get one out just for myself and for you guys. And it felt great to be behind the mic. But enough of my problems. You guys are rock. You guys all rock. I appreciate all of your support. So anyway, I've got some really kick-ass encounters coming. I've got a couple of subscriber encounters. I've got some more unidentified animals in the news. I've got some folklore. I've got some native heritage. I've been compiling, but I've been doing the mom and dad of the year thing right now too. So thanks guys, and I want to bid you guys farewell.